Hi everyone, welcome to the Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Teddy Atlas III, and joined by always my main man, Boxing Hall of Famer, the legend. Call him Nostradamus, call him the Amazing Kreskin, the man with the crystal ball. Teddy Atlas, how you doing, bud?
Good. I've been so hot with the picks. I've been fortunate, but I don't like to brag on, but we've been pretty hot. We won't always stay hot, but we've been hot, and we just hit. You could say we hit 4 in a row tonight, but we hit 3 in a row, and we hit them perfect. We really did. I mean, the first one we picked, and it's out there, of course. It's out there, the write-ups, the picks, everything is there on the ropes. Our community that we built, that you built, the platform, that some of the ropes people that pay a subscription fee, they're the only ones that get some of the picks. But most of it we give to everybody. We put it on the podcast, we put it on the YouTube channel. But there are specific ones that go, as I said, just to our, community with the ropes. And we had Abdullah Mason. I picked him to win. I said he's going to win. His talent's going to be too much. But I said Noakes being older, being 28 years old, being experienced, being that he covers up good, that he's fundamentally pretty technically solid. I was worried about that one going the distance. So I had to make a choice. So I wound up picking Mason to stop him. And he hurt him. He came very close to getting a stoppage. He dominated the fight. Was there one judge that was a little nuts in that fight? That was a little crazy. I forget which one that was.
That was Haney.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that later.
Yeah. Excuse me. But so Mason dominated, and my pick was for him to dominate, but I thought he would stop him. But we did have a saver in it. And if you read the write-up, it's there. We're fully transparent. We win, we lose, we lose. But we went into this winning 8 of 9. Right? Am I correct? That's 8 of 9, we went in with it pretty hot. And in this one, if you read the write-up, at the end they said, look, I could see Noakes being dominated, which he was, but being tough enough, gritty enough, mature enough, sound enough to get to the finish line. But as a saver, I'm suggesting that maybe you take Abdullah Mason straight up to win with a parlay. So that was the saver. But the rest of them, I picked Ben Rodriguez by knockout, by the under. We got it by 5 seconds. 5 seconds. We were going nuts. But we got it by 5 seconds that he would knock out Martinez. And then we picked Haney. And when we first picked Haney, and I picked Haney to win, he was the dog. At the end, it was either even money or a slight favorite, but he was the dog. You joked around. I don't know if you were joking, but you said, I think that the way you're picking winners in the last month, 2 months really, I think that you might have influenced the line or moved the line a little bit, but whatever. I picked Haney to win, and then I picked Benavidez, and of course he was a big favorite, so I had to go with knockout or not knockout or under or over. Went with the under, and by knockout. Said Benavidez is going to knock him out, and the under. And he won, I think it was the 6th round. And so he got the under. So we hit 3 straight, and we were fully transparent. We did all right. We had a couple parlays. You put a few things down where we did good. But more importantly, the people out there won. In our community, the people in our community are very happy. They got a little bit of an early Christmas present. So I was so happy, just so happy that we've been so hot. And I don't want to let no one down. I don't want to tell people to gamble because, it's a risk. If you don't have extra money, gamble responsibly. If you don't have extra money, don't gamble. Just listen to what I'm saying, and maybe it makes your watching experience a little more enjoyable. You got something to look for that I give you. But I'm not trying to force no one to bet. But if you're going to bet and you be prone to bet, why not be an educated bettor? And why not have, hopefully, a little edge? And so far, we've given you a little edge. Again, I don't want you to bet if you don't have it. That would kill me. At the end of the day, I was so happy that we've been doing well, and doing well especially for the subscribers on on the ropes, and you guys should subscribe, but it's up to you, that I let my son come out of the basement, that I brought him up. I'm so happy I brought him out of the basement, because usually when he's here from Vegas and he's going back home tomorrow, and I wish he could stay here with his son and his wife, especially his son. I mean, our grandson, we miss having him here, and we're blessed that he was here for the last few days. But got him out of the basement. And the last thing I want to say before you take us on the way is that we had our 29th year charity fundraiser. We do one big fundraiser a year, the dinner, the Dr. Atlas Foundation dinner, where we raise money to help people, to help people no better than any other foundation, no worse. We do our little bit to get out there and to help people that sometimes fall through the cracks, have nowhere to go, and to get them from point A to point B. And we've been doing it 29 years, and we had an unbelievable turnout again. We've been blessed. 1,000 people, 40 celebrities, Tracy Morgan and Tony Dancer, and I mean, go on and on and on and on. It was pretty incredible. And we also had 3 members from the ropes community fly in. I mean, one came from Oregon, one came from Kentucky, one came from Chicago, and be part of the dinner. I mean, that's beautiful. I just feel very privileged that people would do that would be that good-hearted and caring and generous to fly in for the dinner and be part of it. So anyway, I'm so glad that we're doing good, because you're out of the basement, you're up here, you're next to me. It's always great to have you next to me. We got a couple UFC fights today that happened too. We'll touch on that quick at the end, but man, 4 big name, good, solid fights from Saudi Arabia. Again, Turkey al-Sheikh, putting the money in to make these fights for the last 2 years. And let's take it away. You're good. You're putting the bets down. You got a little extra money for Christmas.
Definitely have extra money for Christmas. It's been easy money. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's 11 out of 13 now total bets. I mean, all value, no big favorites. Biggest favorite tonight was Benavidez by KO, minus 150.
We took him under to get a better line. And what was that line?
I believe 9.5, but we are crushing it. You guys are missing out if you're not joining the ropes. I keep saying it every week. I'm going to say it again. You don't have to do this podcast. Just go and watch the previews from the week before, or come over to the ropes if you want more, because that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's taking place. And you have the exact right hoodie on right there, because you are a fireman and you are on fire right now. So.
And one thing about the fireman today, you're making me think about, today is Saturday, and Saturday night we just finished doing a live streaming. I should mention
for
that.
ropes members only. So
Yeah.
that's another thing, guys. And I want to add one more thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt there, but since you just said that live stream, not only did we hit all these picks the right way, go watch the live stream. We're going to put it up here on the YouTube channel, the rerun of it, so everybody could see
I
it.
think you'll like it.
You're going to like it. You're going to see what our community is about. You're going to get a taste of the people that have the opportunity to talk directly to Teddy in this room while we're commentating. But not only did you give these picks, let's fast forward real quick to the main event. You said the next round, this fight is over.
Yeah,
We're giving in-fight live betting as well, guys. And when Teddy gets to see it, it's even more dangerous. And I want to say you would have got at least 5-1 on that live if you would have jumped on that. And you nailed it. It ended the next round. That was the 7th round when Benavidez stopped Yarde.
7th or 6th?
I believe it was the 7th round.
Listen, again, I'm fortunate and I'm blessed. I'm glad that nobody lost money with us. That would bother me. That's the only thing I get nervous about. But anyway, it's people's choices. They want to bet. They don't have to bet. We put it out there. But again, we're doing a podcast now late at night, about 11 o'clock at night, maybe a little after, Saturday night. We just got finished doing live streaming with, as Teddy said, with our people in the ropes platform that you can subscribe to in a monthly basis. and we had all our guys on the ropes, and it's getting bigger and bigger. I call it the family. I say it's like a family getting together at dinner table and talking fights. And they can chime in. We can talk in between rounds. We can talk during round. And I asked them. I said, guys, what do you think is going on? Teddy, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think? Do you think Benavidez should be doing this? You think Yarde should be doing this? And it was fun. It was great live streaming with them. Sometimes we live stream with everybody, like last week, right? It was last week we live streamed with everybody.
Yeah, last week we were on here, the YouTube channel, The Fight, and that was obviously the big one across the pond, Eubank and Ben. And this time we did it for members only at the ropes. So we're rotating over, guys, but more consistently, for the most part, it's going to be over at the ropes. So you guys are missing out. Come over, join us. And we're going to get into it here in a second, but I just want to say what a fantastic event. Amazing, again, the foundation dinner. Always proud of you, always proud to be there. And as you touch on some of our ropes members coming out to support, we do have such a special community right now. They are becoming the family. We don't do this often, but it was special, and we appreciate you guys. And we're going to give a quick little shout out. Edward, big fan of the podcast, came all the way from Oregon. Our man Jay, all the way from Chicago. Drew from Kentucky. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for being with us. And with that being said, bud, let's get right into it.
Yeah, the only thing I left out, just touch on, since we're in that theme of talking about, today, Saturday, and the 2 days ago, obviously the dinner. But we always, it's a tradition, after the foundation dinner, which is always a week before Thanksgiving, 2 days later, Saturday morning early, we give out 2,000 turkeys and all the trimmings to families that otherwise, unfortunately wouldn't have a traditional dinner. And we did it again today. We have a lot of people that come and help us give it out, even kids that can be part of the giving, which I think is a great part of it. And we gave out 2,000 turkeys and all the trimmings today. We started early in the morning. It's been a long day. And it was great. And the greatest thing that I always say about it is, they're getting a turkey and all the trimmings like any other family should have. And they should have it like any other family should have. But the greatest thing is that it lets some families get together that might not have gotten together if they didn't get that turkey. That might make a difference. Yeah, I know it's the food and everybody should eat, and get what anyone else could have, especially on a traditional dinner or traditional holiday. But to me, the most important thing is maybe there's families that are splintered, that are having some problems. And they, on this day now, because they have a turkey, they're able to get together, maybe for the first time as a family in a while. Maybe there's one child that has been, like I said, disconnected from the family, and he sits at the table this day. Maybe it's the first time he's done it for years. And something happens. Some magic happens with the family together, where they heal and just come together like a family. And all of a sudden, it takes a different trajectory, where, they get into a better place. To me, that's the great thing. That's the magic. And that's the thing. I just want to thank all the people that come to the dinner, that donate to the dinner, that donate to the foundation during the course of the year. I just want to thank them for caring about other people and giving us the privilege just to be the conduit to take those resources and get them to the right places. It's the people out there that make that happen. So let's get into these 4 fights from Saudi.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing I'll say to that, Bud, is, again, so proud of the work you're doing in the community. What a turnout today. It was incredible. It was special. We'll share some pictures. We'll show you guys just a little taste. Teddy the Fourth, my son, 7 years old. And what a day for him. I was so proud to watch him go to work. He wasn't going for the cans. He wasn't going for the corn. He was going for the turkeys. And you asked him, how many turkeys did you hand out so far? He didn't hesitate. With a big smile, he said 20. So we're helping people as much as we can, and you're doing great work, bud. We're going to get right into it now.
Don't leave out the other 2 grandchildren.
No, I don't want to leave out the other 2 grandchildren, although I was about to. But Joseph and Mara, the best. They were there working as well. I was just thinking about Teddy the Fourth.
No, they were all a team. They were all a team.
Absolutely.
And they did a great job. They did a great job.
Fantastic job.
It was nice. It was fun. And we have a lot of volunteers that do a great job. So God bless all the good people out there that are part of it. So let's talk about boxing a little bit.
Yeah, let's get into it. Big card. Just touch on the opening. Saudi Arabia. We're going to cover 4 of the fights there. We're going to start off with the opener for us, and that was the 21-year-old Abdullah Mason taking Sam Noakes on, and this is for the WBO title at 135 pounds. And you said it in the lead-up. You touched on it here a little bit. You nailed what Noakes was. I was not familiar with Noakes. Fighting across the UK, he was 17-0 coming in, and you painted the picture perfectly. A tough guy, very technically sound, gritty kid, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, covers up well. And Mason, you said the speed would be glaring of the advantage for Mason's speed. And it was. He was the longer fighter. He fought outside, but he did some great work with some body shots, big place shots, big uppercut. He hurt Noakes a bunch of times. Noakes, game as could be. He had some moments too. It was a fun fight to watch. It was entertaining, but in the end, there was only one clear winner, and that was Abdullah Mason, now the youngest champion currently in boxing at 21 years of age. What'd you think of this one?
No, I thought it was the way I kind of drew it up. You know, when we did the breakdown, we did the handicap. It's out there. I mean, we put it up, obviously, before the fight, and it's all written up, the reports and the picks. And I just said that the talent difference would show. I mean, Mason's only 21 years old, but very talented. Noakes 28. And the talent difference showed that Mason would be faster, that, you know, he would be, he's a southpaw, he would be, you know, his talent would carry the show. And my concern about, does it go the distance, that Mason have the talent to step up and stop him for his first world titles? I think he's going to win other world titles. He's very young, he's very talented, and he's very committed and very proud. And he was trying to get the knockout. I mean, he wasn't just trying to win a decision. He was trying to get a knockout. And I thought that part of his, if I was reading him right, and I thought I was, you got to read the temperament. You got to read the tea leaves. It's not enough to just know X's and O's like I know, and be able to also, you know, spot talent like I can, and the difference of talent, and understand technique, good and bad. But you got to try to also understand what burns inside someone, what motivates someone, you know, where they are mentally. Are they the guy that will be satisfied to go rounds, or a guy who will take chance to get a knockout? And even at 21, for his first title try, I thought he was a guy that would go for the knockout, try to do it, try to show that he's special. And he did. So he gave me a run for the money. And at the end, like I said, throw him in just to win in a parlay. But as far as the knockout, came up short. I thought that Noakes would have a shot to get to the finish line for one reason, that he was good enough technically, button up, keeps his hands up well, doesn't, you know, button up enough technically, and it would be gritty enough, game enough, and mature enough. I thought that the 7-year difference might make a difference in a positive way, where he's mature enough with a 21-year-old on that stage for the first time, that could at least get him, like I said, to the finish line. And it did. It did, by being older. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you right now that the commentators, and they're all good. I don't want to knock any commentators, but they're saying, you know, they don't think that Mason should do a rematch. If there was a rematch to be done, you know, that Noakes is a tough guy, and, you know, I don't know who you're taking. I think if there's a rematch, I would take Mason again, and maybe by stoppage this time. And nothing against Noakes. Tough, game, solid guy. I admire him. But I think Mason's going to get better. He's going to get 30% better. Like I always say, when a guy wins a world title, he automatically gets 30% better. And he's 21. And I think the next time, what kept him from getting a knockout was he was doing single shots. And I think next time he won't do single shots. He'll do combination shots because of the confidence, because of the maturity, because of winning the title, you know, the seasoning that goes with that. And again, Noakes, hey, listen, I love the way Noakes used timing to punch in between shots because Mason was much, and I said that. The biggest difference, you said it, the biggest difference, the glaring difference will be the speed difference. And it was. But I thought Noakes would have a chance to nail him sometimes with right hands by punching with him, timing him, because timing can negate speed. And there's no doubt. And I always say that to my fighters when I train fighters. So, and he did. But to the credit of Mason, not that Noakes is known as a great puncher, but to the credit of Mason, he showed a good chin. He not only showed heart and the will to be sensational, not only to win the title, but he took some clean shots and showed no effect or no impact from the shots. They both went to the body well. I'll tell you, Mason was ripping up that body. So Noakes was trying to do it too. But Mason was and the uppercut was there in spots. I thought if he put punches together, maybe. But at the end of the day, Mason's got the world in front of him. If I want to fool around with a movie thing right now, I love the movie quotes. Go to Scarface, and when Tony Montana, looked up and he saw the blimp up in the sky, the world is yours. The world is mine. The world is Abdullah of Mason's. This kid don't screw up in some personal way outside the ring, which I don't think he will. He don't look like that kind of kid, and he looks like he's got solid people around him. The world's his. It's up to him where he wants to go. Anyway, that's it for me with that one.
Yeah, no, I love the breakdown. I couldn't agree more. To steal one of your lines, how scary he could be. You said when you win a world title, you become 30% better. Scary to think at only 21 years of age how much better this kid could get and will get. And the last thing I'll say about Abdullah, besides his impressive performance, you said it years ago, and when he got dropped twice in that one fight, a lot of people started to get down and question, is this really that kind of prospect? Getting dropped by a journeyman at that time. And it made you like him more and double down more. And it came to fruition tonight. He's now a world champion. And Sam Noakes, only 27 years of age, I believe, he belonged, right? He's a guy that can fight at a world-class level. I think he'll get another crack at a world title eventually. And very fun fight, very entertaining fight. So hats off to both of those guys. With that being said, we will keep it moving, bud. We're going to move over to the 115-pounders. And the man at 115, one of my favorite fighters in the world. This guy is something else. That's Bam Rodriguez.
I call him Bam
Bam
Bam.
Bam. You gave him the extra Bam. Yeah, like, who was that? Brandon Bam Bam Rios? This guy, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, so special. He fought Fernando Puma Martinez. He made a world champion look like an amateur fighter. And I'm not disrespecting Martinez, just to the greatness of Bam Rodriguez. As you say, bud, this guy was walking in the rain without getting wet. It really was like an exhibition. He was having fun. He was doing what he wanted. And he made us...
in an uncommon environment, seeing everything.
Yeah, and no question. And, it seemed like he broke Puma's nose early on in the fight. Puma was playing with it. But the side steps to the side, the body shots, the placement, the combinations, he did it all. He made us sweat a little bit. Took it up to that 9.5 round under we had with, 5 seconds to go? But a win is a win. He got it done for us. And congratulations not only to Bam on that. He sacrificed big time for this win. His first, I don't know if it was his first shot, but he had a boy.
I think so.
Yeah, was it his first one? Yeah, he had a baby this weekend. He missed the birth of his son. And he'll be bringing him back home, a special gift when he finally gets to give him a kiss. With 3 titles now at 115 pounds. Just want to get more of your thoughts.
And he's a great kid. He looks like a great kid.
He really does.
And Robert Garcia does a former world champ himself, the trainer of the year.
Phenomenal.
He did a great job. He does a great job out there. And he's one of the top trainers in the business and a good guy. And you root for good guys that know how to behave like champs inside, outside the ring. You love that. You like that even more than just a talented guy and a winning guy. But yeah, you start thinking about Bam Bam in a way you think of an Inoue or a Nakatani. They're bigger, right? They're bigger, but you start thinking at that thin air, that elite Mount Olympus type level. That's how I do anyway. I mean, he's pretty extraordinary, and he's got good eyes. He's very good technically. Obviously, he's got power, speed. He was doing a lot of single shots. Too, and then every once in a while he was putting them together. And I like the way he was putting them together. I like the advice that you could hear Garcia giving him in the corner where, touch, 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 and then dig. Touch, 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 dig. And that's what he was doing. He started putting them together, trying to set them up, trying to create an opening, try to, move a couple punches around, touch, 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 bang, and then finish with a big one. And then I said, during the course of the fight, I said, his best shot to score a knockout with this guy who's a game guy is to get just a little separation and catch him coming in, catch him punching, catch him off a counter. And because when I broke down the film and I took Rodriguez by, of course he was a prohibitive favorite, so we had to pick to make it make sense, under or over, knockout or not. And I picked the under because then it was close. I just thought that he would be picking them apart. And it would start to become kind of like if you went into the, I don't know, if you went when we used to have biology in school and you went into the lab and they were dissecting a frog. I'm just saying, I don't want to get people queasy here, but I just thought that it would be like he was dissecting a specimen in front of him. That he would just be picking spots and slowly taking them apart, taking pieces. Not like a shark that comes in and bites you in half, but like a piranha, just pieces. And I just thought it would be a matter of time before there wasn't much left. I just had to guess the time, and I got lucky. I got fortunate, whatever. But to me, the trick was not whether or not if, but when, and when is he going to pick enough flesh away where the skeleton just collapses? And he picked enough away within 5 seconds of what we picked. And then all of a sudden, he gave himself a little room. He reached in, and the technique, not just the power, the big separation in these two fighters was obviously talent. Rodriguez is so talented. He's fast. He's a good puncher. But his technique, he was just smarter. He's just more together. He's more sophisticated, more solid in every area. And the thing about Martinez, that I would have bet anything that he was going to get knocked out. And not because he's not game, not because he wasn't undefeated, not because he didn't have his own title. He had a title. He was undefeated. He was game. He was tough. And he throws, bad intention punches. But the reason why was the separation in technique and talent. Not just talent, but technique joined with talent was so great that I just couldn't see him going the distance. I couldn't see knowing Bam Rodriguez the way that I know him as a fighter, that he could last all night being picked apart, being dissected piece by piece, that sooner or later the skeleton had to collapse. And what I really enjoy about Bam Rodriguez is he keeps his eyes, his concentration. Obviously it never wavers. What I noticed about Martinez in my evaluation and my breakdown was he's a tough guy. He covers up pretty well. He's in front of you. He comes at you for the most part. You won't have to find him. That was, for me, that was a good thing for Rodriguez. And he throws single shots. And he throws power shots. He never jabs, for the most part. He coming at you throwing single shots. And the single shots are wider than Bam shots. That there's more space in between. There's more, there's more opportunity to catch him, missing or in between. And because of that, and he's one-dimensional. He's coming the same way all night. I couldn't see a guy like that, not just not beating Bam Rodriguez. I just couldn't see him going the distance. To me, it was almost like they were giving money away. Like when I was just like, I got to get it under
These
or
days,
over.
it feels like everybody's giving money away the way you're picking them.
I just felt like I just got to get under and over for the people out there to lay the where they wouldn't have to lay
The juice.
The juice.
Yeah.
What's the best odds?
We go for the value.
With the less risk, with the least risk. So I was looking for that, but I would have bet anything almost that the guy can't last. He just, after a way, it just broke it down. Anyway, that's my breakdown for him. At the end of the day, it got to a point where you could see Bam could do what he wanted. You know, he could do what, and then it got to a point just before the knockout where I said to him, he's looking for one shot now. He's looking to land that one, and he's looking for the spot, and he found the spot. And how did he find the spot? Yeah, he's fast. He's this. He's that. He's this. He's smart. He's technically so good. He got that knockout by doing just good basic technical work with the sweet science. He made him miss a punch coming in, and he counted. And he caught him a shot he never saw. And I know you were screaming, "Don't get up," and not because we don't like Martinez. You know, we respect him, but you were screaming, "Don't get up," because you had the clock in your head. You knew we only had 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, it was amazing finish. A lot of excitement over here watching that one. And we said it in the past, and a lot of people are saying it now. He really does remind me of Loma in so many ways, especially with that footwork and the defense. Another incredible performance by Bam. And at the end of the day, but I don't know what's next, but I can't see anybody touching this guy at 115 pounds. 118, Nakatani. I'll get crazy. 122, give up some size in a way. He's special. I want to see him against these other special guys soon. Hopefully we get that. There's nothing but big fights coming.
And I know they're older. I get it. But he's already beaten a couple legends. Legendary guys. He reminds me a little bit if you go to the UFC of Topuria. Topuria's already beaten legends. And Bam has beaten legendary guys already. 2 of them. I mean, he's special.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to keep it moving there. Before we do, I want to just take a quick pause. Thank today's sponsor, Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens, the all-in-one daily drink to support better health and peak performance. These guys spent 10 plus years with top nutritionists and doctors to create this formula. It's made from 75 whole food sourced ingredients. It has vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, and antioxidants. This is like an insurance policy for your body's health. Athletic Greens is giving our listeners 3 travel packs for free and a free welcome kit including vitamin D3 and K2 and AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. So whether you're looking to boost your energy levels, support your immune system, or address gut health, Athletic Greens is the way to go. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/atlas. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/atlas. All right, bud, let's keep it going. We're going to go to the co-feature. This is a fight where I think a lot of people disagreed with your pick on this one. And a lot of people have been down on Devin Haney since the beating he took. It doesn't count on his record, but he did take the beating from Ryan Garcia. He came back versus Jose Ramirez. It was not a fun fight or a good performance by him. And you made some points in the lead-up for this fight, this title fight. It was his debut, 147 pounds. He's fighting Brian Norman, only 24 years old. Brian Norman was the youngest champion in boxing going into this one before Abdullah Mason just became that. And the WBO belt was on the line at 147. And you broke it down, and you went to the past, and you went to your gut, and you ruled out and made sense. And I'll let you touch more on that, of why you liked Haney. But you said from that great show back in the day, will the real Devin Haney please stand up? And Devin Haney stood up. A lot of people are jumping back on that bandwagon that you didn't jump off. You gave him when he was a plus money underdog. I think you touched on it in the opening. You might have changed that line as soon as we came on here and you started speaking. You became a slight favorite, not much of a favorite. In the end, another win. You're on fire. We keep saying it. We're going to show you guys the report. It wasn't close. He dominated. He dropped him in the second round. And then he went on to coast a decision, unanimous decision win. The only thing I didn't understand all night, 114, 113.
Bring him in order. If I'm the czar, if I'm the boxing czar, there's a national commission. And I don't want to be. I'm not asking. But if I were, first of all,
I want you to be, because you will clean the sport up.
a lot of pink slips would be handed out on Monday. But if I'm in charge of this sport, I've been fighting for a national commission forever, and want to go to Congress and get one. But really, I'm calling that judge into my office and give him his day in court before I fire him or suspend him, and make him explain to me how he came up with that. I'll make him watch the fight with me.
And drug test him?
And maybe. And I make him, I want to know what his affiliations are, who he is affiliated with, who he has friendships with, who he has relationships with, what promoters, what this, blah, blah, blah. I want to do a full, I mean, there's other guys worse than him, but I don't want any of them. And I want to do a full investigation breakdown of how he came up with that score. And if it don't sound kosher, as they say, to me, you know what? You're getting suspended, and I'm going to watch you. I'm going to keep you out for, probably 6 months, and let you do little fights, and then see how you do. And if you do better, then I'll let you come back. And if you do it again, you get suspended for maybe a year and a half this time. And then the 3 strikes you out. You get your license revoked. Just like if you're dangerous on the road and you have too many accidents. I got to take your license away. You might kill someone. You might hurt somebody. If you're a bad judge and you keep making those kind of bad decisions, I got to take your license away. You might hurt. You're going to destroy some young fighter's career, or some old fighter's career, or anyone's career. And you're going to chase fans away. You're hurting the sport. Yep. So I got to take your license away. I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, as far as the fight, how did I come up with Haney? Well, look, there's a lot to it. One of the things first to start with was he was always a good boxer. He was always that guy that I always said, you got to know your identity to be a really good fighter. You got to have talent, and you got to be buttoned up, and you got to be taught right, and you got to have the fundamentals and all that. And whoever has more talent with the fundamentals, they're going to shine. And mentally, you got to be together. He was a champion. Several weight classes. How many weight classes? 2? Whatever. But I think 2. But the last one was 140. But, I mean, there's a guy who's a world champion. And then his father always was smart about the management. They didn't really make any mistakes. I know the Lomachenko fight was very close. A lot of people thought he lost and all that. I get it. I thought it was. But they didn't make many mistakes. He had an identity. He knew what he was. He was a counterpuncher. He was a guy that never wasted anything. He was a sharpshooter, a real accurate, laser puncher with laser accuracy. And like I said, he didn't waste much. He controlled range. He set traps. He counterpunched. He used his jab. He was fundamentally solid. Some people question his chin, but not his heart. And he got it done by being a practitioner of the sweet science. And then he goes into the Garcia fight. And the Garcia fight just about ruined him. But it didn't. But it almost did. And he goes into that Ryan Garcia fight, and him and his father, the first time they made a mistake. And I might have made the same mistake, and I'll tell you what that mistake was. They believed all the stuff that was going on, which we all did, where on the internet, on the social media, where Garcia was acting like a guy that you almost wanted to commit, to an insane asylum, where... Really, if you cared about the human spirit and the humankind at all, you started to say, should this kid be in the ring? With this crazy stuff that was twirling around his life in the middle of getting ready for a huge fight. And it turned out that Garcia got in the ring. He was together enough to fight a hell of a fight. And where it really went crooked for the Haneys was, I think that they thought, like a lot of people, because of all this stuff out there, they were going to have an easy night. They were going to kind of go across the ring, get rid of this guy that's been nuts, and go home and pick up their check and go home. And they made a mistake. But they went away from what got them there. That night they wanted the counterpuncher. They wanted the guy that controls range, the guy who's a sharpshooter, the guy who doesn't waste anything, the guy who's laser accurate. They became Mike Tyson. They became more of a seek and destroy guy, like we're going to go get him. And that's not him. And he did. He went to get him. And he walked into a left hook. And he never fully recovered. And then he got dropped another 2 times or whatever, 3 all night. And he showed tremendous heart to survive. Tremendous. But he took a beating. And he took a bad beating. And he took such a bad beating that a lot of people thought he would never be the same. A lot of people. And not only physically, but mentally. And then he did the right thing. He took a long time off to recover. Long time. Took a good amount of time off. His father did the right thing. And then he came back. That fight in outdoors that Turkey Al-Sheikh put together.
Times Square.
Yeah. And he comes back and he fights a fight with a former champion who's past himself, who's a little past himself, a little slow and, coming in one-dimensionally, but a former champion. And he pitches a shutout, but a lot of people didn't like the way he looked because he was very defensive and they thought he was shot. Maybe physically, but definitely mentally. And they thought he was shot. And I watched that fight. I watched it again because now I'm breaking fights down for our community and everything else. And I watched it and I said, is he shot? I had to answer questions to myself to handicap it right. And I said, he's physically fine. I watched his legs, I watched his reflexes, his defense was good, his counter-punching was good, was on, his control range, his legs, everything was good. He didn't put the offense together because he wasn't back with his confidence yet. But he needed that fight to get back. That was the fight, that was the medicine that the doctor ordered. That was what he needed. He needed to get through that fight to know he was okay. To just know he was okay. For his father to say, son, you're okay, you're back. And he needed to do that. And again, I looked at the physical, I said, he's fine. And I took a shot. I said, I think that fight was all he needed. That was the fight to get him back, to get his confidence back. I think it's going to work. And then I looked at the opponent. And at the beginning, Norman was the favorite. Everyone said Norman's going to knock him out. Well, a lot of people were saying Norman's very dangerous, going to knock. Explosive kid, young kid, champion, undefeated, very good fundamentally, but very, very talented and a good puncher. And he scored those left hook knockouts and all the, the sensational highlight reels of knockouts. And everybody was sold. Haney's shot. Norman's probably got a good shot to knock him out. And I thought to myself, just the same way as Haney's people made a mistake going into the Ryan Garcia fight, thinking the guy was gone. Maybe, just maybe. I think they could do a great job, Norman's people. But just maybe the young kid, they make a mistake a little bit, and they think they're going to just walk him down, go after him, land a big shot, and get rid of this guy who didn't look spectacular in his last fight. And I thought if they do that and become a little one-dimensional, and a little overly aggressive. And Haney's back to being who he is, which I was sure his father would have him back to knowing his identity now. That we're a counterpuncher, let the other guy make mistakes, let's pick him apart, that's control range, that's set up good shots, that's not, let's be us. If they're that guy, they're going to have a chance to catch this young kid coming in. They're going to have a chance to outbox him. They're going to have a chance to set traps, to counterpunch, to keep more balance, to play defense and mix offense. They're going to have a chance to win and get back to the top. And it played out the way that I handicapped it. It really played out that way. And I said, while we were watching it with our crew, with the live streaming tonight, I said, he's got to get past the first 3 or 4 rounds. He's got to get past these rounds, and he's got to gain confidence. And if he does that, he's back on the horse. He's going to ride it home. And what happens? He scores the knockdown, and it was beautifully scored at the right range, catching him, coming in front of him. And what did he catch him with? Before that, he caught him a nice left hook that kind of, put him in his place a little bit. And then what did he do? He threw the left hook, and I don't know if it was a throwaway punch, but it was blocked. He threw the left hook, I think as a throwaway, and then the right hand down the middle. But the left hook froze him. It distracted him. It set up the right hand, and it dropped him. And then it was his fight. He was back. He was confident. He was Haney. He was controlling the outside. He was back being what he needed to be. And he's back.
He's back. He's back in a big way. And he got that confidence in the second round when he scored that big knockdown. He started to coast. And I thought maybe will he allow Norman to get back in the fight. But the thing that shocked me the most from all the other people out there listening to some of these breakdowns in the comments in the lead-up was they were discounting the experience factor or the lack of experience with Norman. And just getting carried away by the knockouts and the most recent impressive performances. And hey, not to say that Norman won't be back and won't do special things. But, experience doesn't matter, and there is levels to it. And Haney's experience showed he was on a different level. It wasn't close. I don't know what that 114-13 was again. But just want to say that, and we'll see what's next. But, Ryan Garcia announced this week he signed on. He's fighting Mario Barrios. He's going to go fight for that 147-pound belt that Barrios retained against Manny Pacquiao. And
he's going to try to land the left hook.
Yeah, so if Garcia gets past that, maybe we get the grudge match. Garcia and Haney.
Yeah, that would be a pretty big fight because of obviously the first fight. And it would be interesting. And it would be scrutinized more, obviously, as far as weight, having to make weight, maybe a weight clause of whatever, but definitely would be scrutinized. They'd have to make weight and scrutinized, of course, because of the PED issue that came up. And I'll finish with this, to what you just touched on, and you touched on it the right way. Is that if you said Teddy, I already explained why he won and why I picked him. But if you also said Teddy, what was the main factor here winning for Haney? And I would say experience. I would say, and that was, again, one of the things that went into the handicapping. His resume was better. He'd been on a bigger stage more times, and he had fought better fighters.
Yeah.
Not saying that we didn't see the talent in Norman and we couldn't project him as being something there, but we already knew that you're still projecting him. You're still guessing. Haney, we knew. We knew that what he could do at the next level. We knew that he had fought the better fighters, the better resume, and we knew that he was more experienced. And experience matters. Experience, sometimes that's just enough to win.
Yeah.
And the experience of Haney mattered tonight. It showed.
And credit to Bill Haney, Devin Haney's dad, catches a lot of slack out there. But when it comes to protecting his son and managing him, he does a good job. And he saw something. They saw something. They purposely picked Norman. And they showed why tonight. They exploded
that was
that.
another part of when I picked Haney to win. I remember, I wrote it in the report. Matter of fact, I remember writing it. I said, you got to remember, if you could deal with this, that, X, O, this, Z, Y. But at the end of the day, I said, Haney asked for this fight.
Yeah.
Haney and his father, they went after him. They picked him up. And when I see a guy who's been successful, like Haney's father, managing his son, and he goes and he asks for a specific guy who's undefeated, who's the world champion, I say, wait a minute. I got to listen to this guy. I got to look at this. I got to think about that. He is seeing something for him to go and make that pick. And that was part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final thing I will say is this. Devin Haney was the bigger man. We talked about the debut at 147. He was the bigger man. He was the bigger, stronger man, even inside in the clinch.
It looked like you've been on a weight program, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure, or maybe in part of the poor performance at 140. I think it was actually a catchweight 143 versus Ramirez in his last fight. That he was draining himself too much. That he was losing some of his strength. And by allowing himself to go up to 147 to grow into that frame, maybe this is where he belonged. few fights before this.
Only two things it could be. And I agree. First of all, one thing we know is we saw it. The eye don't lie, right? He looked big. His back, his head, just big and strong. And we thought Norman would be the bigger guy, being the naturally, the welterweight and the naturally bigger guy, supposedly, right? But to me, I said right away, I think he's been on a weight program in the gym. But then you said, because I got to give you credit, that's why you're upstairs, you're not in the basement.
I got out of the basement.
Yeah. You said that. Maybe it's just that for all these years, he's been crunching the weight. We don't know what kind of cuts he's been making. And maybe he's really been, struggling, whatever, sacrificing, obviously, to make 140. And now he's being allowed to kind of fight at the weight maybe he's meant to be at now, at this stage in his life, rather than cutting down to 140. Either way, he was the bigger guy.
Yeah, no question. And we're going to keep it moving. Again, that was another winner for us there at the ropes. And here comes another winner at the ropes. We're going to get to the main event. We're going to get to David Benavidez putting his WBC 175-pound title on the line. It was versus Anthony Yarde. And you said it coming in. We picked Benavidez by KO. It was minus 150. Benavidez early on looked like...
We picked him by the under, too.
Yeah, the under and by knockout. And David Benavidez coming into this fight, was a massive favorite. So you had to pick him that way if you wanted to try to make some money and not lay that big wood. I thought early on he was a little frustrated, Benavidez. He was trying to understand or close that distance, right? Yarde was fighting smart early on. He was fighting disciplined. He was looking to counter and stay on the outside. Now let Benavidez close that distance and get inside to the body. And I thought one of the signs that Benavidez was frustrated but was he switched to southpaw early on in the third round. Don't really see him do that too often. He switched right back, but it was just a little sign. And then he got closer. He started to get closer, bang the body, make it a rough fight, maybe get a little help at one point from the referee. He was holding behind that head, throwing some hooks, got away with it.
That was scary.
Few rounds later, gets 2 points deducted, though, from that referee. At the end of the day...
Why would they deduct it? For what reason?
I'm not sure. We were doing the live stream,
Not 1 point, 2
and
points.
he took
Bang.
2 points immediately away. Maybe he saw what he saw in the first one, and this time, he just...
Did he hit him?
Did he hit him while he was down?
Yeah.
We were doing the live stream. We were into it. We were yelling. We were getting after it. I'm not sure. It's a good question, but it didn't matter. It wasn't going to the scorecards. Benavidez got pissed off. The monster woke up. He kept coming. And then, before the final round, you told the live stream, and we're going to put it up there. We said it earlier. Go back, watch it, guys. Teddy said he's knocking him out in the next round. That's it. Huge odds you could have got on the live, picking the identical round. That's exactly what happened. Just want to hear your thoughts and add to what took place tonight with Benavidez and Yarde.
Yeah, look, a couple of reasons why I picked Benavidez. It's not that miraculous of a pick or, impossible pick. But you do have to narrow it down when you're picking a favorite to when's he going to win and how's he going to win. So we did that. We were right. The first thing I was thinking was youth will be served. That Yarde is older. He's got miles on his odometer.
Yeah, 34 years.
And that Benavidez would, youth would be served. That was part of it. Also, Yarde's a good puncher, and he could be dangerous. But he's stepped up to that next level twice in his career, and he came up short. Twice. With, of course, the great Benavidez and with
Sergey
Kovalev years before that. So both times when he stepped up, he just wasn't able to get over the hump. He wasn't able to get and be successful at that next level. I was betting that Benavidez is that next level. And the other thing was, I was a little bit nervous the first 4 rounds. And I said this in my report, in the write-up, that I thought Benavidez would get to him. But I thought that the strength of Benavidez, the thing that we love about Benavidez, he's TV friendly. You know, he's a go-get-you guy eventually once he gets his engine going. But the thing that is one of his greatest strengths could be one of the things that can be dangerous sometimes is that he's an offensive fighter. And he likes to get close. He likes to instill his physicality and his will on you. He likes to impose his physicality and his will on you. He likes to break you down. He likes to get in the kitchen and cook up a storm. And sometimes he puts punches in bunches. He's like a during a summer rain burst where suddenly the cloud burst comes with rain and it rains hard for a few minutes and then it stops and then it comes at you again. That's Benavidez. He'll come at you with punches in bunches, a rain burst, a cloud burst. And I just see sometimes, with Morrell, and Morrell's a real good fighter, but I see sometimes when he does that, he gives you a chance to catch him because he'll take the risk, because he is an offensive monster. He is a TV-friendly guy. He is a guy we love. And that's part of why we love him, because of his approach, his style, his commitment to action. And when he does do that, sometimes he'll put 6, 7, 8 punches together. And you have a chance to nail him, to punch, if you time it right, to punch right in between and catch him. And you have a chance to maybe hurt him. I thought that was the one chance Yarde had, was he's a good puncher, and that he's experienced, and that he would be able to know what he had to do. And what he would have to do is he couldn't stay the distance with Benavidez. He couldn't stay on the highway going 70 miles an hour.
Right.
There's no way. He ain't winning that race or that contest. That ain't happening. He ain't outworking Benavidez. That ain't happening. I bet anything. There's no way this guy can win a decision because he cannot match him with punch output. That ain't happening. Not too many people are going to match Benavidez at that weight with punch output. But I thought what he could do was take advantage of the offense of Benavidez. If maybe he stayed and maybe get a little greedy and maybe just drew 1 or 2 punches too many from one spot, maybe he could nail him. Now, he did nail him a couple right hands. He had the idea early on that I'll keep separation and put the burden on Benavidez where he's got to come to me to make the fight and to get to me. And I'm going to try to nail him as he comes to me. I'm going to see if I can make him pay a price taking a risk. And he did. And he fought the right fight. He nailed him a couple right hands, trying to come to him. But at the end of the day, once the Mexican monster got his engine going, and he's like a guy that got to get the engine going. Once he got his engine going, he got into his flow, into his rhythm of putting those punches together. And to the geography he loves. He loves to get, again, in your freaking grill and go to the body and use the uppercut. And he picked spots on the outside with right hands. He did a good job. He even landed a beautiful left hook. But the thing was, his offense is to put punches together, to kind of bring almost a tsunami. A tidal wave of punches. That's what he does. And when he brought that tidal wave, it was too much for the experienced but older Yarde. And the reason why Yarde, and the reason why I picked him to knock him out in the round that I did was the round before that, Yarde changed what he was doing. Instead of laying back and fighting a tactical fight where he's not trying to match the offense or the output or, the aggression or the youth. He was staying back like a veteran, and he was trying to catch him coming in. And then all of a sudden he gave up on that, and he came forward. Whatever round that was, 6th round, whatever it was, he came forward. And as soon as he came forward, I said to the audience that we were streaming with, I said, wait a minute. To me, I recognize this. When I see this in fighters in this kind of situation, it's desperation. It's last gasp. He's taking
You said this could be the last stand.
Yeah, this is the last stand.
Yeah.
He's taking a last stand, the last gasp, and he's coming forward now. And if it don't work,
He's in trouble.
He's got a bad problem because his gas tank is going to go a little towards E, but more importantly, his confidence is going to go towards E. His desperation, his hope is going to go towards E. He's going to get discouraged. He's not only going to get a little tired, he's going to get discouraged. And he's become a guy ready to be broken. And I said, if you don't get rid of him this round, if you don't hurt him, he's going the next round. And I said it. I said, he's going the next round. And sure enough, the next round he went. The only crazy thing was with the referee and, stepping in there at whatever point that was with the 2-point deduction, which I still don't understand. But maybe if I watched it again, I would get an explanation. But just, you got to love Benavidez. You just got to love the way he goes about his business. He's fun to watch. I love him and his father, the way they conduct themselves, the way they carry themselves. And he was, he broke down Yarde.
He did. He broke him down. The monster. I want to see, everybody does, right? What is next? Is it Bivol? Is it Better Beef? Will there be a trilogy between those guys? He gets the winner. But there's nobody else at 175 that makes sense right now, other than those guys.
You're right. Better Beef, is getting older. I mean, I love him. The man of steel. He's like a man of steel. But he's getting older. And, what is he, 41 now? Somewhere in that
I believe he's 40.
And so you don't know, when that downward trajectory is going to show itself more. But it would be a hell of a fight because Benavidez, most people when they fight a Better Beef. They fight him like Bivol if they have a chance to win. They box him. They stay on the outside. They let him take the chances. They counterpunch, right? They try to be, not seen, but heard. But Benavidez, that's not his style. He'd wind up at some point, he'd box a little on the outside with his length and everything, but at some point, he would engage him. He would do what Benavidez does, which is be inside, in the kitchen, trying to cook up a storm by putting punches together, body, uppercut. And guess what? That's what Better Beef does. He gets inside, he bangs you to the body, he looks to break you down. And when he hits you, for the most part, you really know it. Most people get hit by him, they stay hit. And for Benavidez to fight that kind of fight, which I don't see him fighting any other kind of fight, to fight that kind of fight, the risk that would put him at, to get caught with Better Beef, who if you make a mistake, it could be your last mistake. It would be a hell of an interesting fight to freaking watch. It really would be.
Yeah, no question about that. Sign me up. And the last thing before we move on from that, but I'd say is, besides we went 3 in a row again to finish the night, and you're on fire, gonna keep saying it. Our man Richie here with us filming, he said, what do you have, a crystal ball after that last stand in the final knockout? And I think you do. I don't need to know where it is, as long as you keep it with you. So
can I say one thing?
Go for it.
Be selfish. Be a little bit, I hope, out of character. And I don't like to be this person, and I hope that I'm known to have better manners than this usually, better etiquette. I hope I'm known for that, but I'm gonna be less than I try to be, just for a minute, and probably be an idiot, but be honest. Sometimes I wonder, like, how come I'm not
commentating on television?
Sometimes, only because, like, when I'm watching a fight, I'm not knocking any commentators, they're great, but when I'm watching them the last couple months, and I'm watching their breakdown, because some of them break it down, they say, okay, this guy's who do you think's and I'm watching them, they're saying, well, for example, Eubank's going to win because he's bigger, he's this, he's going to win again, he's going to outbox him again, he's going to control the outside, and I'm watching them say, no, that ain't going to happen. Ben's going to win. I'm very sure Ben's going to win. And he left too much in the ring, blah, 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 whatever. And then on and on and on and on. And then I'm watching the fights, and then I feel like sometimes I just know what's going to happen, and I'm pretty consistent with getting that across to the audience. And then after a while, maybe it's because I'm drunk with a little success here that we've hit how many? We've hit like
Yeah,
like,
what did I say?
what's
11
that?
out of 13.
Yeah, so maybe I'm a little intoxicated with that, and that's why I'm talking this way, and I shouldn't be. And again, forgive me for going a little bit that way.
No,
But sometimes I get frustrated, and I say, I somebody wouldn't have me wanting to do commentary. I know why I lost my spot with ESPN, because Aaron pushed me out, because I said there was some corruption going on. I said that there was stuff with the sport that was corrupt. I didn't like. I called it out. I knew there was a risk to it, and I called it out, and I knew he didn't like it because he was afraid it could hurt his deal with ESPN. So I understand that, and I understood when I did it that there was a risk, and I was willing to take that risk because I wanted to say what I needed to say, and I think that's important. Tell the truth. But I look now, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of.
You're kind of good at this?
I'm kind of good at this.
Hey, there's a reason why you're in the Boxing Hall of Fame, right? And I guess you wanted to get me a little upset today before I leave because
I'm sorry.
I get angry and I get upset.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's stop.
Let's go to UFC. Yeah, no, I'm going to finish now. You brought it up, so let's finish it, right? I mean, the whole entire ropes community said it. There's no wondering. We know what it is. People don't want to hear the truth. And these networks, maybe they're scared of you. They don't want to hear it. And I'm not disrespecting anybody else out there. There's some great commentators,
great.
but they're not even close. They're not close to you. And it shows every week. And you know what? That's why I'm happy we created this ropes. Because people could go and see it all there. It's fully transparent. He's writing it and telling you before it happens every single week. This has been going on since September 13th now with the start of the ropes. And it's continuing. And I know it's only going to continue. We'll lose some eventually. But you're always going to win more than we lose. And forget the picks, your breakdowns, your eye. It's special. You're the best. You never pat yourself on the back. I'll do it for you. No, and I'll do it again for you because you deserve it. And anyway.
I came out of character a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating. And I think a lot of people out there watching this, you guys should start voicing that. Start reaching out to DAZN. Reach out to these other networks. Why isn't Teddy commentating? We know why. You guys know why. Let them hear it. He should be out there. Anyway, we're here. We're happy to be here with the fight. Happy to have you guys. And I love you, bud. You're the best. Let's keep it moving. Let's finish this up. We're going to switch over. Those great breakdowns. Again, 3 in a row to close the night. And let's switch over to the UFC. We're MMA fans. Our man Richie here. I know he wants to hear some of it. Yeah, we were over in Qatar. We had Garry versus Belal Muhammad. These were the welterweights. Belal Muhammad, obviously the former world champ, 37 years of age now. And before we get into the fight, bud, I mean, when is the UFC going to fix these eye pokes? When are we going to do something about this?
I'm not the only one. But I've been calling we've been covering UFC the last 7 years, I guess, and I love the UFC. I have nothing but admiration for these fighters that I got to know and admire them more than I ever did once I got into covering the sport. And the commentators are great. The fighters are great. Everything. And it's a rough sport, like any combat sport. But how can you, with all the money there, with all the ingenuity, with all the science that's available to us, right? Now, in so many areas, in nutrition and in technical and with the computers and with television and with equipment, with all the advancements out there. And again, the NFL has to come up with things. They came up with a new helmet to try to help with concussions. They got the money, they got the scientists, they got the ability. They had to come up with some, so they tried to come up with some. How do you not, and I've been saying this a long time, come up with some kind of pliable material that we know that they wear the very small gloves, 4 ounces, and you want the open hand, and that's, part of obviously the signature of trademark of the sport, and they wanted their hands available to grapple, and get on the floor and all that. So you have all those dimensions of combat. But you could, why can't you get some kind of pliable, elastic, conforming material that does two things? It allows you to still be able to, grapple, use your hands that way, but it restricts the fingers. It keeps them together. It keeps them, you're still pliable. You could move your hands, you could open them, again, you could do the grappling, but it restricts, it contains the fingers. It keeps the fingers together where it's less likely or less easy to get a finger into somebody's freaking eye.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it's by accident, these eye pokes. We hope most of them are by accident. Some of them you wonder, you just look at them and you say, was that accident? And we want to say most of them probably are, maybe all of them, we hope. But either way, why not? I mean, that's dangerous. So how long until somebody's career is over, really? And the retina and the whole thing, where they don't recover from it. And that we saw a couple of eye pokes where Bilal Muhammad received them from Ian Garry. One of them was kind of weird with both hands, almost like he was falling off balance and he lunged at him, or he just did it. I don't know. I don't know what the explanation was, but at the end of the day, he won a unanimous decision. Ian Garry, he is a nightmare physically, with his skeleton, with his frame, his mentality, and his fighting approach. He's long, he's tall, he's talented, he's a good striker, but he does what I always say in boxing. He knows how to fight tall. He knows how to fight long. He knows his identity. That's one thing. You might beat him, but he isn't going to beat himself. He's going to fight his fight. And that's how he won against a former champion. He controls range. He uses his length. One thing he makes a mistake, he's going to pay a price, I think, if I was involved with the striking part. He goes straight back 2-3 steps in a row on a straight line. Someone's going to time him going back. He got timed a couple of times standing up with some good strikes by Bilal and going straight back. But if he keeps going straight back 2-3 steps and you're in that line of fire, someone's going to catch you. Somebody, I know if I had a fighter, that's what I would concentrate on. Try to push him back and then get in there free, clean, and catch him and kind of be like a Tom Brady, quarterback, where you were in the NFL 15 years, where the quarterback throws a ball where the receiver's going to be. He leads the receiver. I would try to teach a guy, throw the punch where he's going to walk into it or pull into it, where he's going to be. Not where he is, but where he's going to go back. But this was a quick one for me. Ian Garry is a handful because obviously, he's a fighter, he's game, he's got good chin, all that stuff. He's got good talent, but man, he knows how to use it. He fights his fight. If you're going to beat him, he ain't making it easy. He fights his fight. He's going to make you reach. He's going to keep you on the outside. He's going to make you pay a price to get in. And not only with his hands, but with his legs. He's freaking good with his legs. So anyway, at the end of the day, he got what he earned. He got a unanimous decision. And then the other one.
Yeah, before we get to the other one, though, I just wanted to say this, because Michael Bisping, I couldn't agree with more. If you're not going to change these gloves, then you got to change something. There needs to be ramifications and consequences.
That's true.
The Aspinall fight just got destroyed and ruined. We were all upset with that and disappointed. And credit to Bilal. And I'm taking none away from Aspinall. Maybe his was worse. I'm not in his body. But Bilal decided to continue after multiple of these. And it didn't work out for him in the end. The last thing I'll say for Garry, bud, and you nailed it, how technical he is and how he controls distance. Part of that, and we've talked about this with the great Dominic Cruz, that front leg kick is their jab in the UFC. That thing was controlling the distance beautifully. I mean, it was nasty. And then in the third round, he really opened up a toolbox and started showing different stuffs. Where it was high leg kicks, or high kicks, I should say, low kicks, spinning elbow, right, striking. I started to see a little more and more of that toolbox, and I think Ian Garry's only getting better.
I agree.
Yeah, I want to see him.
I saw it.
Yeah.
No, this was one of the best Ian Garrys I've seen. where sometimes he's not quite as entertaining. You know, he takes the air out of the room a little bit. And tonight, some people might say he did that too, fighting on a real disciplined fight on the outside. But to me, it was still excitement involved in the fight.
Yeah.
And I'll just piggyback off what you said about the great Michael Bisping, former champion, who lost an eye.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost an eye. He's got one eye.
Yeah.
And
For
so
him to be saying this, you're right. I'm glad you said that.
I want to listen. When he says something about that, I want to listen. And I think that he nailed it. I really do. I think he nailed it by saying, okay, if we're not going to come up with the glove, that's what I want. But if you're not going to come up with the glove, you got to come up with a real penalty. I mean, there's got to be accountability. If you come up with a serious enough, it's kind of like in society. If somebody knows they're going to kill someone, they're going to an electric chair. I think, really, I know I'm jumping into this thing, but they're going to think, unless they're a complete maniac and sociopath, they're going to think twice about, going to that next place. I'm going to the electric chair. Not maybe. I'm going to the electric chair. And I'm going to be caught, and I'm going to be convicted, and I'm going. If they knew that, I'm just thinking a wild guess here, that you're going to cut back on that crime, that kind of crime. And to the point of Michael Bisping, if the fighters knew that there was going to be severe accountability, like I'm talking about disqualification. You do it more than once, like you said, 2 points, whatever, real consequences. If they knew that, and maybe after 1 or 2, you get disqualified, and there's no pleading your case, it's bang, they know that's going to happen. They might go a little concentrating a little better about keeping their fingers together and not outstretched.
No question.
They really might, because they do have control over that.
Yeah. No, we got to figure this out. They got to get this right. And it's happening way too often. Anyway, said enough on that one. Garry, only 28 years old, only getting better, 17-1 now. He's going to keep climbing up those rankings. Another big name on his resume. Obviously, the former world champion Belal Muhammad. And Carlos Pratas looks a lot better now, too, after his performance last week, knocking out former world champion Leon Edwards. Yeah, he's climbing up. And we're going to keep it moving. This is going to be the last one of the night. Final breakdown. It's the main event there. And this was Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. These are the lightweights. And very impressive performance. I mean, Arman came in, didn't waste any time, but he showed his striking in the first round. He got it to the ground in the second round. Started grounding and pounded him. And he worked his submission. He got it in the end. Second round. Dan Hooker. Love Dan Hooker. Love so many of these fights and these wars that he's been in.
A lot of miles on that.
A lot of miles. You don't know how much tread is left on those tires. And at 35 years old, Arman just took some more off of him. We'll see what's next for him. But I think we know what might be next now for the number one contender, Arman. He's going to get this crack at Topuria. But what'd you think of this one?
I think you hit it. You covered it really well. I mean, first thing starts with Hooker, right? Where's he at? What's left?
Sure, and 16 months of inactivity for Hooker going into this one. A lot of injuries, a lot going on that he's overcoming in his career, but heading into this one, it seemed like the odds were up against him.
No, they were. They really were. And Arman's good.
He's good.
And I'm going to sum it up this way. He's well-rounded. I guess you to say his strength is when he gets you to the mat. His ground and pound, his physicality, his technique. He's tremendous. But his striker looked pretty freaking good too. He's a strong guy. He looks like a strong guy. He is a strong guy, and he presents himself as a strong guy, and he shows his strength, his confidence. Being the boss. And again, I didn't see any real weaknesses in him. And man, his striker was good, and he looked good when he got on that floor. Wow.
He really did. And we're going to wrap it up with that, bud. It was a great night of fights. It was a great week. I was so happy to be back home between the foundation, the turkey giveaway. We did it all. We did a lot. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Love you. Thank you. Take us home. Any final words?
Yeah, Thanksgiving will be coming up, and I just wanna wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And I'm not here to preach to nobody, but uh, you know these are not unique words, from me. You hear them before, but we should all take a minute to be thankful for what we have. You know, sometimes we think about what we don't have. It's human nature. It is. It's human nature to think about what you don't have. But sometimes maybe Thanksgiving is a moment to reflect on what you do have. You know, if you're fortunate to have family, if you're fortunate enough to have anybody in your life that cares for you, maybe focus on that. Forget about, sometimes thinking about, well, I don't have that, and I don't no, but I do have this, and that's important. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy the people that you care about the most. And God bless.
Yeah, beautifully said. Guys, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys again next week.